God help.
I need some help.
Help me! Help! You exploit them and spread whatever problems they have to the whole world. You think that's helping?
I love you. It's like, why don't we say that every day? Why can't we say it more often?
I just love you. I just want to go to the rooftops and scream, I love my best friend.
Howdy, y'all. I hope you're doing well. I'm Willard, and this is Twinkledads, an emo advice show. If you don't know already, the gist of the show is pretty simple. Listeners, hopefully you, send in questions asking for personal advice. It could be about anything and or everything. School, love, work, relationships, life, so on and so forth. Whatever it may be, you send in a question. I and or one of our very special, lovely guests will come onto the podcast, talk about your question at length, give you some answers that you may enjoy, may not, and then recommend you songs that we believe will help you cope with your situation. Let us help you help yourselves. So if you'd like to reach out and send a question to be answered on a future episode, you can do one of two things. You can, one, email twinkledad69@gmail.com, or two, DM at Emo Advice Show on Twitter and or Instagram. Even though I'm a stranger to you, I presume, and that whoever comes on is also a stranger to you, we care about you. We love you, and we want to make sure that you are able to give yourself enough love that you're able to give other people, love in their time of needs. So once again, if you'd like to reach out, email twinkledad69@gmail.com or DM at Emo Advice Show. Without further ado, here's my conversation with Blue of Diners. Diners is an LA-based guitar pop, power pop, pop rock project whose latest release, Domino, came out on Bar None Records in August of last year. Before we go on and you listen to our very wonderful conversation, I feel like it's important to note on a personal level that I will always remember the first time I heard Diners. We all have musicians, bands, songs, albums that we remember when and where we were when we first heard them, and Diners has always stuck out to me. It was the morning that their EP, It's All True, was put up on quote-unquote's website. So I was 15 and in early high school, and I would always download any album that was put up on there, whether I knew it or not, because I just trusted Jeff Rosenstock, as one always seems to do. And I would download it directly to my PS3, and then I would listen to it while playing Minecraft. And so when I downloaded It's All True and listened to it for the first time, I was thrown aback. But after the third listen, I just really loved it. Because at the time, in most people's youth, you think that pop music sucks. It doesn't suck. I feel like that's a part of growing up, is realizing how wonderful pop music is. But Must Be Nice got stuck in my head immediately, and then that EP just kind of became a constant on my high school playlist and playlist since. And it's just funny to think about, because that's 9 years ago, and people change a lot during a time span as long as 9 years. Subsequently, art changes a lot, and art continues to grow wherever a person goes. And I think it's been really fun to kind of track the growth of blues music under Diners since It's All True, leading up to now with Domino, which just employs such a full guitar rock sound, akin to the Beatles or AC/DC, or a personal connection would be Tony Molina, very much to the help of Brendan Ramirez of Bori and Mo Troper. There is just such a full sound to it while still employing what has always made blues music great. And it's the songwriting. It's the pop songwriting that just feels so flowy and just so gracious with the time and space that it takes up. And not to give away too much of our conversation, but it's important to note, like, as part of the artistic growth, at least looking from the outside, it's, you know, people always will like to imply that the music you create will be reflective of, like, the place where you're at or where it was made. You know, that's like why music scenes exist. And Diners, you know, was based in Phoenix and then Oakland and now LA. And Domino was written in Oakland, recorded in Portland, and then released while Blue is now located in LA. You know, it doesn't really exist in a hometown. If anything, it just feels like truly reflective of the person who made it. And I think, you know, listening to Domino in context is just like, yeah, these are all of, like, the positives in, like, previous Diners releases, amped up to 10 and then some. It's a truly lovely pop album that I recommend to the end of the world and back, and that I'm very thankful to have the opportunity to talk about Blue, or to talk about it with Blue, and then to answer your questions that you sent in. So, yes, I mean, actually, before we go on, if you haven't listened to Domino, please do. And if you want to, and if you're implored to, do something while you're listening to it. It's an album I put on when I'm doing the dishes, and then a friend texted me the other day and said that it was an incredible pancake making album. But it's just sure to brighten up your day. So thank you so much for listening. Thank you, Blue, for this conversation. And thank you to those that sent in your questions. So I'm very happy to present to you our conversation, our discussion. But first, The Power by Diners off of their new album, Domino. Thank y'all oh so much, and talk to y'all oh so soon. Bye-bye now. Howdy, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, my name is Blue Broderick. I'm the singer and songwriter for the band Diners.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, I mean, just to start the question, or just to start the conversation, a quick question: if you had to describe if you had to describe how your day is going so far as like a day of the week, which day would you pick and why? I know we are recording this on like a Friday evening, but like, it could feel like a Tuesday afternoon,
Hmm.
Sunday late night. So yeah.
There's something about it for me that it's giving Thursday evening energy, I guess. That's how it feels over here. We're all like kind of sick and kind of getting over being sick, so it feels like I don't know, even though it's a weekend, it's like we can't really party yet.
Yeah.
We're not there yet.
Mhm. Yeah. And you are Pasadena based, correct?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, because I am like in East Hollywood and definitely was
Cool.
thinking like Thursday evening night as well, because it's like, it's rainy outside, it's gloomy, but it's probably going to be like sunny tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, very, very, just, I don't know. The answer makes sense. Very universal.
Yeah, it feels Thursday to you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or okay, yeah, cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess just how has everything been since the release of your album Domino?
It's been cool. It's been great. I mean I've released a lot of records and it feels like that one was a really special one.
Oh. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, just like, yeah, because that came out, yeah, so it came out in August. Yeah, August of 23.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you did a pretty huge tour, a lot of dates supporting Chris Farron. Yeah, and then you got the Ted Leo dates coming up. So, I mean, yeah, no, that's like all like very exciting. But I think, we are talking about a very just like, I don't know. I love the album. Obviously, it's very like, it feels natural, but also I think new in the Diner's discography. But like, we are having this discussion like, close to like 9, 10 months like since the album was released. So I guess,
Mm-hmm.
like looking back at like the album itself, like how it sounds, the songs and like everything since, like how do you feel about it?
Oh, I feel great about it. I mean, it's I think it's my favorite album I've ever made. Like, it's like including like other like friends albums that I've like been a part of. Like I feel like this is something that I feel like the most proud of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, there was a period of time where I was like, I um I was like, oh well, I don't know what to do after this because I just did the thing that I really wanted to do. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah. What was the like, I guess just like the inspiration or like the driving force behind like having like the full like power pop like band sound? Like not to use the word raucous, but a bit like, raucous.
Well, I mean, I just wanted to make a rock album, and I feel like it wasn't until the album was already made that um, kind of the word power pop started being thrown around, which I feel like conflicted about because I don't know if I necessarily even think it's power pop, but I do think that it is close enough to call it power pop. But yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just wanted to make a rock record.
Yeah.
Like
And
oh,
yeah, no,
sorry.
no, sorry. And it does rock. I think also with like the power pop labeling too. I mean, it's just like the involvement of like Mo Troper and like having that definitely like definitely like add some like embellishment. So like
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I feel like Yeah, I feel like with his record MTV, it felt like that was kind of like him being known for power pop, and it was kind of like we were recording Domino like a month before MTV was released, and
Mhm.
so it was like it was very power pop timing, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, how much did you like from like the initial like songwriting and like demoing, like did the album change? Or like or how did the songs grow rather, whether it's like major differences or minor?
There were well, I let's see. I feel like a year before going into the studio with Mo and I were kind of like throwing around the idea of making a loud diners album, and I had known Mo for a while, so it was like pretty natural in terms of like wanting to get together and record. And yeah, like I think that probably like a few months before going in, I wrote the songs or most of the songs thinking of it as like a loud rock album because I had all these songs that were very like I don't know. They were like it was kind of like they were inspired by the not rock and roll sounds of Prefab Sprout, like kind of the more like the more show tunesy songs. Like I feel like I had a catalog of like show tunesy songs, and I realized that was not gonna cut it for a rock album, and so I started writing with like bonehead rock in mind. And that was a word we used a lot, bonehead, in the studio. We're like this idea is the right choice. It's like the bonehead rock choice, so we should do it.
I mean, were there like what like bands or albums were like points of references specifically for like bonehead rock?
I mean, definitely, I feel like we talked about AC/DC a little bit. We talked about the Beatles a lot. Um, I mean, that's like a big number one. I mean, not that Paul makes a lot, or any of the Beatles make like exclusively bonehead choices, um, but they all kind of do at the same time. Um, but yeah, I mean, yeah, there was a band that I kind of two bands actually that Mo turned me on to while we were recording. Um, there were the Toms, and uh, then also the DBs also. Yeah.
Yeah. I think, yeah, especially with like the notion of that, it makes a lot of sense. And I think I know, like, as a listener, at least when like listening to Domino, where it's like the focus on like just not riffs, but riffs, like the like rock energy and like the whole like scope of it is I don't know. It's sick, and I believe that it does like translate well. While also like I know because I was just having this thought where it's like, yeah, especially like in the like side B of the album, a lot more. I feel like it felt like a lot more like intimate and like I think like reminiscent of like previous like diner songs, and just like I don't know, like it does feel like a natural progression and not like totally boneheaded.
No, totally. It's like I'm not a real deal like rock guy. Like I'm not Angus Young, even if I'm trying to come up with an Angus Young type thing, which is good because I don't really want to be Angus Young. But I think you're spot on about the side A and side B because that was pretty intentional to like kind of put like the more raucous songs up front, and then to kind of have I mean, kind of actually one of the show tunesy songs that I was talking about earlier ended up being the closer to this album, Wisdom. But it's like it's not really show tunesy in this way, but it was like definitely inspired by like Popeye, the soundtrack to the Robin Williams Popeye movie.
That's That's an incredible pull.
Yeah, Harry Nelson. Harry Nelson did the music and Van Dyke Parks wrote the lyrics. Incredible combo.
Yeah, incredible. And I think also just like, yeah, no, that makes Wisdom make like a lot more, I think, sense, at least like sonically. It's also like a very like, like the last three songs in general, from My Pillow to Your Eyes Look Like Christmas to like Wisdom, it's like, yeah, there is like a soft, like, like a softness and like a sweetness to it that I think, is like a very just like suitable way to end and to like kind of contrast like what was being put out, you know, at the start.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, no, thanks for listening to it.
Yeah. Another question that I think that comes to mind is like just about like the location of, or like the idea that it's just like when it comes to like music often like reflects like the like place it was written, or like the like scene it was written. I think to kind of ask an open-ended question, it's like, so like what city would you like describe or pick this album to be? Because I like understand, or at least gathered, it was like written in Oakland, or a good chunk was written in Oakland, recorded in recorded in Portland, and then like now being put out, under LA. That I think from like any angle, like any of those cities would make sense as a pick. But I was wondering like, like how you see it and how you reflect on it.
It was definitely, to me, it's like an Oakland record because, I would go on a walk every single day and think about the songs, and I would just kind of digest what I was writing, and, just kind of like refine stuff on like every single day while going on a walk. That's honestly like how I think I was writing a lot of music at the time. It was very much just like it wasn't like sitting down at a guitar. It was going on a walk and thinking about it. And I wish I could do that. Sometimes I can, but yeah. So I lived in a great neighborhood for walking around when I was in Oakland.
Yeah, that's so. It like, I guess, just like has like that like ritual of songwriting changed since moving down.
Oh, definitely. When I moved, it fucked everything up. It was really painful, actually, because I was feeling so proud of my record, but at the same time, like I wasn't in a flow of songwriting, and it was weird to kind of feel like, I'm like mixing this record that I think is great, but I felt like I didn't have like the companionship of songwriting with me, which it's like I moved to the big city. I don't have my songwriting companion. Where what am I doing?
Mm-hmm.
But then it's it's doing fine. Like we're friends again. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I can imagine, especially, really any like spot or like area of Los Angeles where it's like, going for a walk and songwriting, maybe not like a super practical, like,
Yeah. Some neighborhoods totally.
yeah.
But my neighborhood, it kind of took me a second to figure out how to walk it a little bit.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, so like, when it comes to the companionship of like just like songwriting and I like just moving, I think I could also imagine like releasing this album during like a move would like just like change the relationship a lot to just like, how you perceive your own art. Because I think, yeah, just no matter what, like moving to the big city or to a place new, it's like I don't know, it can get lonely, and it's just like hard when it's like not in a place of like celebration, as opposed to like hometown band releases hometown album in like hometown.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't felt like a hometown band anywhere like since, like probably like since like 2016.
Mm.
Um, when I was living in Phoenix, like very consistently at that time. That was the last time I was living there consistently. That was kind of, um, yeah, I loved living in Oakland, but I never really felt like I fit in musically. Like I loved playing in other people's bands when I was in Oakland. There's this band called Slumped, that is great, and I got to play guitar in that band. And that band actually like Nate, the songwriter for that band, kind of showed me like how to play loud music again, which came in very handy for making the record. And actually, like I don't think Domino would sound this way if it wasn't for playing in Slumped. But yeah, you know that feeling, like I don't know if you ever have this, or like where like you are about to move out of a spot that you've been at for a second, whether it's just like a house or a bedroom or whatever, but like the last month that you're there, like everything kind of falls into place. Like
Yeah.
you realize like how you want to arrange your room, or like you finally meet a lot of like-minded people, but it's like, oh, like everything's like falling into place, but I'm like leaving. That's actually like how Domino makes me feel. It's like that, it was that time exactly. So
Yeah, no, I think like definitely, because it's like, because I think especially when you like recognize that like the spot that you're in is like no longer going to be like permanent or like temporarily permanent, it's just like wow, like I kind of have to like mentally say goodbye and like go away, even if it's like, the nice moments are really just like more bittersweet. Yeah.
Exactly.
I think, how has settling into like LA, the big city, been for you in terms of like, what has it been like as easy to adjust to as Oakland, or?
It's been great. I love it here. I think it's a lovely place to be, for playing music. It's just nice. Like I feel like I've been playing in a few bands, and it's like I moved here to be with my partner, because we were long distance, and then so and that was like, it was really great to move in together, but it was also kind of like we're still kind of like figuring out at the time, like we were still kind of figuring out how to get used to being around each other a lot, and now it's like now we're just obsessed with each other, and like we have to remind ourselves that we have to leave the house. So but like every time I do leave the house, I have a great time. So yeah, it's great.
Yeah, that's very delightful to hear. And I like the final, or like one of the last questions before we do wrap up, like the initial discussion about a Domino is like, I mean, how does everything regarding like diners and songwriting look like moving forward?
Well, I'm right now I'm in a very good flow of songwriting, and actually like a month from today, I mean, it doesn't really matter if I date the podcast, and it doesn't, I'm not going to say the date actually, but in a month from today, I'll be going up to Portland to record the next album with Mo, and because I was like, let's try it again, but like let's do some different stuff. But yeah, like I feel like I am valuing different things with the current songs that I have. Like I'm writing lyrics in a way that I've never written, and it feels really good to have. I don't know. I've always been a little bit self-conscious about the lyrics that I write. And so it's nice to feel like these are lyrics that I could like hang my hat on or something. Yeah.
Well, I'm very excited to just, hear it when it comes out. And, it's very cool to see, even though like, of course, you will like everyone like always progresses in their art and like art will continue to grow and grow. It's cool. It's cool just to see Domino. It's like, it's cool how it has been celebrated as an album because it rules. And yeah, of course. So I think without further ado, before we get into the advice questions, I always play a song to lead into this conversation and to lead out. And then the song, so I'm picking from Domino Will Be the Power to like, lead into the conversation. Which song would you pick to lead us out and why?
I would probably go with I'm gonna say Painted Pictures. Because I mean not just because it's the song that follows the power, but I think that's maybe my favorite song off Domino. And that's like that's my favorite song off Domino, and it's got a little bit of a different vibe, and I think that it can be interpreted in a lot of ways, but it's like a very meaningful song for me.
Hell yeah. No, yeah. You've got it, but you've got to keep it glistening, as one would say, if they were to write a song called Painted Pictures and put it on an album called Domino.
Love it. Thank you.
Yeah. Of course. So without further ado, this is Painted Pictures by Diners. Thank you all oh so much, and talk to y'all oh so soon. Bye-bye now.
Floating over painted pictures from the valley and beyond, mulling over greener pastures, always somewhere to belong. Ooh, goes on and on. Can I live up to it? Can I live up to it? Orange sunlight in the morning, purple sunset, cap it off. Overzealous and compassion come together, splay it all. Ooh, goes on and on. Can I live up to it? Can I live up to it? You've got it
Good evening, Blue and Mr. Twinkle. I hope this email finds you well. My question for your podcast involves motivation and school. Ew. I really, really don't want to drop out, but I'm so burnt out, I'm failing the only class I'm taking. I also feel like it'd be super hard to come back after dropping out even for a semester. I've been really depressed, and I'm not saying it's because of school, but I feel like it's because of school. On the other hand, though, the idea of dropping out makes me really depressed, so I don't know what to do. Thoughts? Thank you for letting me vent. Good night. Brittany in Bend.
Probably Bend, Oregon, you think?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I can only speak from my own experiences here. Just drop out of school. That was the best thing I ever did, was dropping out of school. And because I was failing classes. Like, and like, I mean, I could be totally wrong. I don't know. Did you go to school? Because I'm assuming this is college, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't. Yeah. I don't know. I don't exactly know how school works everywhere, but like, isn't it the kind of thing where it's like if you end up failing it, like it will reflect more poorly on your record than if you had dropped it?
Yeah, at least at the school I went to, I know that was the case, or I feel like that's the standard.
Okay, cool. I don't know anything, but I think that, it's like, I think if you know you're gonna fail it, then maybe like doing a little damage control, just being like, you know what, I'm gonna come back that way, and like when I'm ready, and that way this doesn't reflect too poorly on my record, or I don't know how. I have no idea. I'm imagining the computer from like Ferris Bueller or like War Games, where like somebody is changing their grade. So I don't know like what record is actually being held, but yeah, I don't know. But but that sucks to be in that. Yeah, I don't know. It sucks to be in that position, but I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, I think that is like a very good point about like, if Brittany like fails the class, it like would reflect as if, you drop out, you kind of are like erased from the system. There was like really like no like reflection, like nothing saying that you failed. It was just like simply a decision. Yeah, I think it's like definitely would agree drop out, because school is never going to be for like anyone. Like it's kind of unfortunate that like it feels like there's just so much pressure on having a diploma and like having that title, but in like reality there's like not much that it's like allowing you to do. So yeah, I think so. A question for you, Lou, about that. It's because you mentioned that you have like dropped out. When you dropped out, did you ever like reconsider like going back at
I think definitely. I think about going back to school all the time.
Yeah.
But I also it's just like, it's like one of those things where it's like I always think I'm gonna do it, but then I end up making a record instead, applying for classes or something.
Yeah,
I think
right.
school's very important, and like I come from a very like a very like education forward household, and I think it was very difficult for them to see their first child drop out of college to like go on DIY tours. But I also think that like we're all now at a place where like my parents have said that was the right choice.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And it's like truly like, because people go into like college like so young, like it's true. Dropping out's truly like a decision that you can't tell whether it's like a good or bad thing until there's been time.
yeah, I guess I am like I'm assuming that this person's young and and like this is like maybe like either like a first or like second semester in college or something. So yeah, it's like, you know, just maybe come back when you're ready, like if you really want, but also, yeah, I don't know if it's making you feel depressed, maybe, I don't know,
Mhm.
maybe it's not for now.
Yeah. It could definitely be always be like a later thing or a never thing.
Yeah. Also, you get more, like, I think aren't you able to get like more like scholarships when you're a little older anyways? So, like, might even be easier to go to school
Yeah.
later. I don't know. I so don't know how school works.
Yeah. I think, yeah, when you are older, just like have like, a lot of like jobs, not making this a pro-capitalist argument, but like, like a lot of jobs and places do have scholarships set in place for like,
Mm,
people who do want to return back in school. And, I know a lot of people like personally that I've worked with in the past who said that was like one of their best decisions ever was like going back when they're like 25 or older. Like it's,
mhm.
yeah, definitely, definitely no rush, Brittany, in
No.
regards. Yeah. I
Over.
Another thing that sticks out, apologies, is about like because there are like these back-to-back sentences in the email that I would love to know your thoughts on, Blue, where it's like I've been really depressed because of school, but also it's like the idea of dropping out would like also makes them super depressed. And so in regards of just like making a decision for like mental health, and obviously we don't know like Brittany's true like what's going on
Mhm.
in her life. Like I don't know, like how do you feel about that in terms of just like would you stay in school because dropping out would ruin your mental health, or dropping out because school is like ruining your mental health? Like is there like really like a better side of the coin?
Well, I mean, it sounds like it's like a little bit of like, yeah, it's like feeding into, I'm depressed because of school, but I'm also not doing well in school because I'm depressed. And that's just like a little bit of like a cycle that, I think it might be the reason why I think it might be good for somebody's mental health is just because it's it's like I am taking control of the situation by actually like stopping this cycle. And even though that like, it's like that idea makes me sad, that is maybe like something I can handle more because yeah, I don't know. There's so many things where it's like I really want to finish this project, but the project is making me feel crazy or like terrible and like bad about myself. But like I don't know, I think it's like kind of sometimes like better to just look at it as like saving and then like swooping yourself out of a situation.
Yeah. I think that's, yeah, very eloquent advice, and I think a good way to look at it. Uh, which songs did you pick for your recommendation or recommendations?
Um, hmm.
Or rather, like what comes to mind first?
Well, well, the first song that comes to mind is really not appropriate. Because I mean, it's just not applicable to the song. There's a song called "The Dean and I" by 10cc that is it, cuckoo, very, um, very theatrical. But that's like not gonna I don't know if that song will give you the power, Brittany, to like make the right choice. It'll actually, yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry, Willard.
Oh no, you're you're all good. Definitely no. I it could be a funny pick. I
Should I just stick with it? Okay. Okay, I'll stick to it. Yeah.
yeah. No, I think I will second actually the Dean and I by 10cc. Because also like really just listen to Brittany, just listen to any music that motivates you. But if not, you always have the Dean and I by 10cc.
Yeah. The Dean and I, yeah. Some of the most wild lyrics I've ever heard in a song. Like, or maybe sung in a song. Maybe like reading them, it's like pretty regular. I actually can't. It's been like a decade of trying to figure out what is happening in this song. Are you looking at the lyrics right now?
Yeah, there's because it's the now who would have guessed Milton's Paradise Lost could be found.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, oh, that's like a very like, yeah, of course this song was made in 1973. If that's like,
yeah,
this is this is wild. I've been
yeah. Hey, I'm from my memory. The first line is like, "Hey kids, let me tell you about your mom. We were dancing and romancing at the senior prom." But I like what I don't get is like, is she the daughter of the dean? Is the mom the daughter of the dean?
Yeah. That's hey, also it's just like assuming that it's like still like the story being told.
Yeah.
Like, hey kids, and then it's just, oh, or does he like switch who he's talking to? It's like, hey sis, one kiss and I was heaven bound. But in the eyes of the dean, his I don't.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be very conversational.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and this is, yeah. Then this is just, I guess they're just at like family dinner.
Yeah.
They're in the den.
Yeah.
They're like playing board games, and I don't know. It's like I am kind of actually imagining like one of the flashback like Simpsons episodes where like Homer and Marge like first meet or something like that. You know, it's like every season it feels like there's one of those.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think looking at it like under that like flashback Simpsons angle, it is kind of sweet. It's very sweet.
I mean, I don't know if I think it's sweet, but it is interesting. The music I think is fascinating. And to be honest, I think about this song a lot, and I have a song called The Dean and I Part 2. But it's a much different story.
Yeah.
It's not out yet, so the people out there don't go looking for it.
Yeah, just wait.
It's one of those songs where I'm like, this is bound to get kicked off the next album, and then it's like one of those kind of songs where I'm like, I wrote it. Whatever happens to it will happen to it.
Yeah. Well, I think just given that information, then yeah, we'll happily use the Dean and I as the song pick. But before we go into it, Blue, do you have any final words you would like to say to Brittany about her situation?
Brittany, don't listen to the Dean and I by 10cc, or do, but you know, I think that whatever you choose to do, I think it's going to work out. And I think that this is like a time in your life where I can imagine that school isn't the only thing that is like going on. And I just be really nice to yourself, and I think you'll do fine.
Yeah, I think, second it, be nice to yourself and also realize you have youth. Like, you're still figuring a lot of things out. And if school is in your way, preventing you from doing that, then it may be okay to revisit it. Take time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Brittany, do not listen to this next song, but everyone else, this is The Dean and I by 10cc. Thank you so much, Brittany. Thank you so much, Blue. And I hope you all do well. On to the next question.
Let's do it.
Humdrum days and a humdrum ways. 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 Humdrum days and a humdrum ways.
Hey kids, let me tell you how I met your mom. We were dancing and romancing at the senior prom. It was no infatuation, but a graduation. From a boy to a man, let me tell you while I can, the soda pop came free. Hey sis, one kiss and I was heaven bound. Now who would have guessed millions paradise lost could be found? But in the eyes of the dean, his daughter was doing what she shouldn't have oughta. But a man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. The consequence should be church belfry swells, the dean, his daughter, and me. They were dating in the park, they were smooching in the dark of a doorway for two. She whispered, I love you. Ooh, I never felt this way before. Ooh, the elevator in my heart has gone AWOL, 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 AWOL. And then I kissed her, and when I kissed her, it's a wonderful world when you're old, ain't it, kissing? Now, the paint is peeling. Now, and when the chips are down, now, you kinda lose all feeling. Now, your head goes round and round, round and round and round and round and round and round and round. I'm throwing myself off this train. Yeah.
Days and a humdrum ways. Humdrum days and a humdrum ways. Humdrum days and a humdrum ways. Humdrum days and a humdrum ways.
Humdrum days, he's got humdrum ways. Oh, hey, I'm really earning now. My ship came in with a cargo of dollars. My name's lit up on the prow. It's a wonderful world when you're old, $80. Now.
Hello, Blue and Twinkledad. I'm going to get straight into it. I feel like everything I do is wrong. Whatever it is I'm doing, I'm almost conditioned to feel like whatever I'm doing is terrible and I could do better and I'm letting people down. I've tried immensely to get myself out of this rut, but it's been months. Even when asking my friends for advice, I come out of the conversation feeling even more like a piece of shit and that I can't do what's best. I think maybe I've let people's perceptions of me become too influential, but it's hard not to care. It's hard not to when you care so much for your friends, especially when it comes to romantic advice. I've only really been told that I do the bad things to people I'm interested in, and I'm never treating them properly. And it terrifies me when going into a potential partnership because all I've been told is that I am doing the wrong thing. And I fear making connection due to it. What should I do? Sincerely, Tacoma Tim.
Tacoma Tim. Well, so we have two people from the Northwest that are in need of some advice, I guess. But sorry. Well, Tim, I'm so sorry. That does not sound like a fun place to be right now. There's you know, from your question, it's like there's you know, there's a lot of context that is probably, you know, needed in order to like really give like a thoughtful, like, you know, like the most real answer that somebody could give. But yeah, I mean, okay, so the first thing that comes to my head is like, you know, as much as we love our friends, like our friends aren't like qualified therapists and like qualified like mental health advocates. And you know, I think that this is like, you know, I think it might be a good idea if you're not already like seeking help outside of your friends, like that might be a really good way to start kind of like working on yourself in this way. Because yeah, our friends influence us so much that I can imagine like it might be really refreshing to like talk to somebody who's like outside of the people you know, and somebody that you're only going to know in one very specific circumstance. And if not, you know, it's also like, you know, I know that like finding help is a little bit more difficult than it sounds. Like it's not just like, you can't just like getting that kind of help, you know, it's like it takes a second to get situated. But yeah, I don't know. And you know, and if there's like I don't know exactly what's going on here, but like other things that come to my mind, like I have a lot of friends that are in AA or Sex and Love Addicts Anonymous that get so much support from those groups. And, you know, if you think there might be a group out there for you, Tacoma Tim, I would probably recommend you check it out because that kind of stuff can be so life-changing. I'm kind of rambling. Willard, do you have anything you want to add? I'm going. I'm going and going and going.
Oh, you're good. Honestly, go on as much as you want. I could also speak if you'd like me to speak.
Well, yeah. Yeah. Is there anything that comes to mind for you?
Yeah, I think really the point you just made about like finding a third party, whether it is like a therapist or like a support group, is it's like, I think about just like, you know, like friends in general and friendships. And there's like kind of like a bit of a tangential pull, but like I always think about what like the philosopher Deleuze said about friendship, because it's like friendship is like the most important relationship like we can have, even more so like honest and truthful than like romantic partnerships, because you aren't really like caring about like how you present to like romantic, like, you know, partners in a friendship. You're just kind of like letting all the good and the bad hang loose. And I think, you know, there's like a lot of like friendship positivity in that. But on like the downside, when it comes to like whenever friends still have a specific relationship to you, Tacoma Tim, and you know, when they give you advice, it's coming out of very like angled bias.
Mm-hmm.
That it's like, you know, like it, like, I'm sorry you're feeling this way, truly, because it's like a terrible feeling. And it's terrible to know that you're feeling like that. But it's like, if they're building you, if they're like breaking you down in that sense, like finding a place like a support group or like therapist where it's a lot of a colder relationship, like there's a lot less like nuances going on and how y'all react. They're just meant to kind of give you like, an outside, like, an outside perspective that
Mhm.
will help you kind of like shape how you perceive yourself in a situation like this. So yeah.
Yeah. No, I think that's great. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I'm really sorry, Tacoma Tim. I think that like, I can't say that I like, you know, I can relate to some things that you said in here on some of my own levels, and and it's things that I feel like I still deal with, just kind of like feeling like I'm uh kind of like always screwing up, or like kind of falling into like the same patterns and stuff, and like that stuff like that is like all I can really like, and when I'm kind of facing those patterns, like it's not that it necessarily gives me comfort, but I kind of feel like there's something in kind of like journaling to myself or talking to myself where I'm just like, you know what, this is like, I am in it for the long haul with these patterns. Like, this is like a thing where it's like, this is not something that I'm going to be able to like just like cure right now. Like, this is like something that like clearly like will be like, it's going to take a while, and this is probably going to keep coming up. So like I almost like should get really comfy with like addressing this issue and being like vigilant with this type of thing. It's so, yeah, I'm not sure exactly what's going on, and I feel like I'm not wanting to get too deep into my own stuff, but yeah, those are things that kind of come to my mind. So
Yeah. I think it's like an excellent point too, because it's like, you know, that's just like what accountability is. There might, Tim, there like might not be like, I'm trying to think how to like phrase this. Like, whatever your friends say and claim about your actions, like, there might be some truth, and there also just might be some like false details and facts. And I think, when it goes to just kind of, like it's really up to you, and it's like tough, but it's also like a very fruitful experience to kind of recognize what you feel like you should work on. And that, the idea of just like kind of like holding things accountable and like kind of just helps it, will probably like, I don't know, will probably not say like it'll probably make you happier. It'll definitely like bring some, I think, really cool insight that might make everything much more joyous and like, and cool, and will probably like make you feel more like confident in yourself, especially when, you're in situations like this with your friends. So yeah.
yeah. And I some people might get criticism and they might choose to ignore it, and I think that as hard as it is, you're you're looking at those issues, and I applaud you for that. And um and yeah, I would say give yourself some grace also. I love my friends. I also know that like when my friends are like, sometimes I'll come to my friends and I'm like, okay, I think I'm getting the third degree a little bit. Like, I like, which maybe I deserve, but like also like I should still be like, I should still like treat myself with some grace also, and be nice to myself.
Yeah. And yeah, Tim, yeah, treat yourself with some grace, and being nice to yourself is truly what will help you get through and help you truck along.
Hmm.
Yes. Do you have any song recommendations, Blue?
Well, the song that comes to mind, it's like maybe it's like not like spot on, like matching with the lyrics, but the song that comes to mind is this song called In the Shadows of by uh, this artist named Filardo. And this is like a song from one of my favorite records. And I think that the lyrics are very profound in terms of like I think the person in the song is like kind of searching for a path, and like maybe um yeah, it's just like it's kind of I feel like I know the person who wrote the song, so I'm like I don't want to I'm trying to I can only speculate so much. But yeah, I feel like this person like is in the song is um at a crossroads of some sorts. So I think I think it's a beautiful song.
Yeah. Not to detract from the conversation, but just for feasible. What's the name of the song and artist again?
Oh yeah, it is In the Shadows of, and the artist is Filardo, and that is spelled Filardo. It's like literally an artist that has like 11 monthly listeners. But yeah.
Sick. I can't wait to listen to it, but at least from how you described it, it feels like affirming almost when you are at a crossroads to like listen to music that kind of reinforces being at a crossroads rather than like you will get out of the crossroads or like it'll get worse.
Yeah, to me this feels like a very I'll say it's like it sounds like it's almost like a confrontational song. Like it is very much like speaking to like the universe, like asking for answers. Which I think is very I think it's very cool. So.
Oh yeah. So before we play In the Shadows of by Filardo and end our conversation, do you have any final words for Tacoma Tim?
Just take care of yourself. That's what I got right now. Yeah.
Take care of yourself, Tim. I hope so much that you enjoyed our conversation and that it helped you at least a little bit. It also doesn't have to.
No, I'm not a qualified mental health expert.
No, it is. But at the very least, I hope you like the song. That would be awesome. Thank you so much, Blue, for this conversation and for talking to me about Domino and all the advice questions.
Of course. Thanks for having me on your program.
Yeah, of course. Do you have any plugs or anything you would like to say, or we can
just be good, everyone. Be good. Take care of yourselves. That's my number one message. And my number two message is that my music is online anywhere. It's everywhere. But yeah, Diners is the name of the band, and Domino is the last record, came out last year. And give it a listen should you feel so inclined.
Yeah, listen to Domino, out now on Bar None Records, or really just listen to the whole Diners discography because it's truly wonderful. Thank thanks everyone so much listening to this or involved in this. I hope y'all do well and that y'all be good and take care of yourselves. This is In the Shadows of by Filardo. Thank you all so much. We love and care about you, and we'll talk to you oh so soon. Bye-bye now.